Hi everyone, Monica Love here at the Blackout Hidden Esoteric Knowledge. So tonight we are going to be discussing Saturn retrograde. I was going to say Mercury retrograde, but we're not talking about Mercury retrograde. We are talking about Saturn retrograde. What is Saturn retrograde? Why do we need to know about it? What is the main purpose of it? Now, there are a lot of hidden energies and knowledge that one should know about when we're talking about Saturn retrograde. So, what makes Saturn retrograde such an important discussion or topic? Now, as you know, if you are new to this channel is all about hidden knowledge, esoteric study, astrology, human design, and any other occultist energies and discussions that a lot of us don't talk about. A lot of this knowledge is hidden from the masses, from the public. My saying is, many are called, but few are chosen. Okay, so if you're watching this, if you're hearing me, then you're called to hear this video, and perhaps it will give you some sort of insight into your life to help you be ahead of everyone else. That's the purpose of this channel, to be aware of futuristic events and to prepare yourself. For more information on this, you can find me on Instagram at The Love Messages. And there I do share additional information about these topics. So, today we're going to be talking about Saturn retrograde, particularly what Saturn retrograde is and how it's playing out on the public domain in the world right now. How is Saturn affecting us? There's so many things about this topic that I will not be able to cover in this one short video, so I will be explaining Saturn retrograde in depth. If you are interested in knowing more about this topic, because I do want to keep this video short, do comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback. Also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, and do hit the like button, because that helps YouTube generate the algorithm so that we can create more videos like this for you. Okay, this is about you advancing and evolving in your spiritual path and journey. So let's get to the discussion. The first thing I want to mention is Saturn is very interesting. Saturn is the task maker. And I'm going to talk about my knowledge and my study on it. Everybody's viewpoint and idea of what Saturn retrograde is going to be a lot different than mine. So I'm not going to compare myself to any other astrologer on YouTube, because I am independent in terms of my philosophy and ideology on this particular subject. So Saturn retrograde is very interesting, because Saturn is ruled by Capricorn, the sign Capricorn. And if you've noticed, Saturn has been in the sign Capricorn for quite some time. I believe the past 2.5 years it's been there. And there's been retrogrades, and recently Saturn moved into Aquarius. Now, I did put the dates on Instagram. I will possibly put the dates in the description box if I have time. Otherwise, you can check them out online. I always recommend you do your own research. So Saturn is, for me, the planet that I consider karma. And when we talk about karma, what do we think about karma? What's our viewpoint on karma? What does karma mean? You know, does it, what does it mean? Stop and think about that for a second. What does karma mean? Karma is the sow of the seed. What you've sown. What have you sown? What have you invested your time into? What have you invested your life into? Think about that for a second. Because everything you do in life is accumulated. Everything. You're always being watched. Even if you don't believe it, there's always someone watching. Especially for those of you who are atheists. There's always someone watching. Saturn watches. Saturn is the task maker. It's the person, the people, the energies, the essence of the end result of what we have sown, and therefore what we reap. So what does this mean for you? What does this mean for humanity? What does this mean for people? It means that we're always being watched. Saturn retrograde is quite interesting because its energy is no longer in the public domain. It's no longer dealing with the public. It's now dealing with the internal self. Anytime Saturn is retrograde, the energies manifest within if you are aware of it. Many people are not aware of Saturn retrograding, especially not now. One of the things that I've noticed in the public domain since Mercury has retrograded and Saturn has retrograded is there's been a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty. Anytime a planet goes retrograde, whether it's Mercury or Saturn, we are being asked to look within. We are truly being asked to look within. The results of Saturn that is not tapped in can be detrimental. If we are not consciously aware of where Saturn is in our chart, especially if it's retrograde, we can become very lost. So how do you tap into Saturn? Well, the first thing is to identify the fact that there's going to be things in our lives that come up that require what? Responsibility. All of us enter into this plane needing to take on some form of responsibility, whether we like it or we don't. The more you dislike Saturn, the less you find its reward. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Saturn is associated with two very important signs in the zodiac. We have Capricorn and we also have Aquarius. So whenever Saturn enters Capricorn or Aquarius, there's major quantum leaps that happen in humanity, which is currently happening now. In our economy, in our populations, in our communities. Aquarius rules large social networks. And what do you think is going to happen once Saturn enters there? Well, we got a sneak peek preview of it earlier in the year, right? And what's happening to the economy now that Saturn is in Capricorn? Capricorn rules money and economy. The money within the system. Not personal money. Personal money is Venus, Taurus, and Libra. But Capricorn is the financial structure of the economy. And because Saturn is there now, retrograding, There's a lot of unfinished business with financial institutions, financial monarchies, etc., etc. This is all coming to the surface. And it will come even more to the surface once Saturn gets out of retrograde. So what is the point of Saturn retrograde? What is the point of it? Why is it happening? What can I do in this time to advance my spiritual mind and my spiritual evolution in this time? It's very, very important for you to be conscious of this, because so many of you run away from Saturn. So many people run away from it because they don't like to be under rules. They don't like to be under regulations. They don't want to have to deal with that. But remember, what you reap is what you sow. So might as well sow something that you want to reap, right? Saturn retrograde is a time to look within concerning the things that we haven't taken responsibility for. What have we not taken responsibility for in our life? Ask yourself that. What have I done in my life that I haven't taken responsibility for? What have I sown in the past month or two? What have I invested into? Where have I put my time and my energy? Has it been in the right places? Stop and think about that for a second. Saturn retrograde. When Saturn is not retrograding, it's easier to have restriction and control on things. When it's retrograde, it's an energy that's looking for somebody to look within to find their own stability and their own ability to find responsibility. One of the observations that I've made recently is that society, particularly politicians and the government, don't have control over the masses, especially when Saturn is retrograding in Aquarius. I believe when Saturn does retrograde in Aquarius, which will happen at some point, possibly in 2021, there will be a lot of rebellion, possibly. And people will have to go within and find their own ability to take care of themselves and find responsibility within themselves. So how is this playing out in Capricorn retrograde? People are starting to learn to become financially responsible on their own. Because sooner or later, the economy can't support everybody. It will only support those people that have the ability to be responsible. Responsible in the time they wake up in the morning, when they eat, when they drink, when they sleep, when they party, when they read, when they work, when they earn money. It's almost like going to a job that says, hey, you got to be here at 9 a.m. Well, what happens when that job is taken away from you? Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. Oh, I don't have to be at work at 9 a.m. Maybe it's time for me to make my own job. Maybe I have to make my own job. Maybe I have to make my own sacrifices for myself. Saturn retrograde. Why? Because that retrograde is within. Anytime you see a planet going retrograde, it's asking you to look within that area of your life. That's what a transit is. A transit happens between certain periods of time. If you've observed the dates that I put on my Instagram post, you will see the dates in which Saturn is retrograding and the dates in which Saturn is not retrograding, when it's in Aquarius and when it's in Capricorn. Both these signs are ruled by Saturn. So whenever Saturn is here, it's going to be intensified. That means a lot of people are going to have to start creating their own jobs. This is something that a lot of people should have been doing earlier if they were tapped into the esoteric knowledge. This is why you need to be tapped into this knowledge and know what is going on in advance. And this is what we're going to talk about. This is just the icing on the cake. This channel is very deep. It's deeper than you can imagine. So you need to be ready for these changes. So let's discuss when Saturn goes direct, what's going to happen? Well, there's going to be more restriction imposed on people. Why? Because it's now affecting people externally. Remember, when a planet goes direct, its energy is even more powerful. And because Saturn rules and regulations, this means that we are going to be affected on a global scale. So it will be very important for you to be aware of the date on which Saturn goes direct, because you will see changes in society, you will see changes in rules, and you will surely see changes in regulations on the things that we can do and the things we can't do. So the takeaway from this video is this. While Saturn is retrograde, ask yourself these questions. Where do I need to be more responsible? How do I need to approach things more responsibly? Where do I need to put work? Because nobody's going to tell you to do work. Nobody's going to say, hey, get up at this time, do this, do that, do this. You have to do that. You have to harness that Saturn retrograde energy within you in order to get up and move forward when Saturn finally goes direct. So don't be left behind like everybody else, because when Saturn goes direct and when it moves into Aquarius, our world is not going to be the same. Now is the time to plan and prepare your next moves. I will talk about this a little bit more. If you found this discussion about Saturn retrograde interesting and you'd like to know more, comment below. Tell me your feedback. Tell me what you think. We're going to take this channel one step at a time so that you can really connect and learn this stuff, because it will help you avoid making mistakes. It will help you create better. It will help you evolve better as a person. So Saturn retrograde is a time to look within. What do I need to change? What structures in my life do I need to change? What rules do I need to change? What rules do I need to implement? What things do I need to start considering when it comes to what I'm sowing? Because whatever I'm sowing now is what I'll reap when Saturn finally turns direct. Thanks everyone for listening to this message. I look forward to seeing your comments and your feedback below. Do like the video if you like this and you'd like more, and also subscribe. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye.